Scripties. Welcome back to season 2, episode 4 of Scripts and Screens. I'm Ashana Robinson.
And I'm Imani Nicole.
Imani, what's the latest tea in Hollywood?
Okay, so Emma Roberts is engaged, and I love that for my girl. It's
Ooh.
like the light at the end of the tunnel, I feel like, for her. I don't
Mm.
know if she got engaged to her boyfriend, Cody John, who is also an actor. I have not seen any of his work, and if I have, I didn't realize who he was. But some of his most well-known projects are The Rookie, Wu-Tang, and American Saga, and
Mm.
CW's In the Dark, and I've never seen any of those. So that's just some of his work, though. They
Mm.
started dating in August in 2022, following her split from her baby daddy, Garrett Hunlin, who is actually really attractive too, but he kind of changed his look, so he's less attractive to me, but like I've always thought he was
I
cute.
gotta look him up because I don't know who that is.
Yeah. And they
Okay.
share a son together. And I
Mm.
just remember her having like that long term toxic relationship with Evan Peters from American
Mm.
Horror Story. So like, and Emma be bagging him. Like she's had a lineup, and I love that for her. And this just makes me happy because she's in her 30s, and you just feel like nowadays everyone feels are saying like you're supposed to be married. Like we had that, that notion to be married before our
Mhm.
30s and have our kids before 30, and here she is in her 30s getting
Yeah.
married. So I'm just happy for her.
Yeah, good. Like I really, really like Emma Roberts. Every time I hear her name, though, the first thing I think about is Scream Queens because I remember I binge
Hmm.
watched that on my Fire Stick. But like you said, I think people do think like 30 is kind of like we need to have ourselves together. But personally, now that I'm approaching 30, I feel like my 30s are probably going to be the best years of my life.
For
I
sure.
don't know. I feel like I got myself together, like my mindset. It's just a
Hmm.
good age. Like 20s, you're young, but I feel like just your mindset. The blessings are going to come in 30. And
Yes.
Cody John, I don't think I'm familiar with him either. I started Wu Tang. This is a white man, correct?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, I don't remember seeing any white people in Wu Tang, but maybe I didn't get far enough in it because I didn't actually finish it. But I will definitely go back and see Mr. Cody John. But that's good for our girl Emma.
Yeah,
Aw.
we love that for M.
Yes, we do. All right, so let's get started with our Watch Your Shelf pick, which was Queenie.
Hmm.
Um, After a messy breakup with her long-term boyfriend, Queenie seeks comfort in all the wrong places and begins to realize she has to face the past head on before she can rebuild. Queenie is a novel written by Candice Carty-Williams and it was adapted to a television series on Hulu. I wish I could have asked Candice if Queenie was based off of her, but I feel like my question was answered in the museum scene where Queenie and her cousin Diana meet these two ladies, and she asks one of them, "Your face looks familiar. Where do I know you from?" And the lady responds, "I write books." And then after Queenie leaves, the lady follows up with her colleague and says, "She reminds me of myself when I was younger." And then I was like, I think that's the author, and I googled, and it is the author. So
Oh, cool.
it was a little
Full
inside
circle
joke.
moment. Hmm.
Hmm. So people have been online. Y'all know I'm always online looking at stuff, but
We
people
love
have
it. I love a good Reddit thread.
right. People have been comparing the show to Bridget Jones and Insecure. I've never seen Bridget Jones. I know that's one of
I
your
have
favorites,
loved it. Yeah.
really, but I can definitely see how it could kind of be compared to Insecure as far as like just everyday life, regular Black woman just trying to navigate her way, and maybe a combination of Issa with dealing with the breakup and Molly. You know how Molly had all these failed kind of relationships until she had her happy ending at the end. But how did you feel about this show slash book?
So I don't really see the comparisons with Insecure and Bridget Jones besides like self narration. Like they
Mm,
like Bridget would
yeah.
write stuff and like say, so I only see that, but as far as like I don't know, it just was different. I mean, I guess
Mm,
I'm like struggling with relationships, but I liked the book better than the movie, which I feel
mm,
like happens 95% of the time. Like if I read a book and then go see the movie, I don't think I can't remember if I've ever liked the movie before the book.
mm.
And I feel like it's because when you're reading, you're envisioning the scenes, the characters. And
Right.
I felt like the book was more detailed. Like the movie
Mm,
didn't put those small details that I wanted. Like, for example, how all the friends felt about Cassandra. Like, I feel like that wasn't really shown.
yeah,
And
no.
like the dialogue through the text, like when she came up with that group chat name and Cassandra had like a problem with it. Like, I feel like they didn't really show Cassandra's passive microaggressions in the movie
Hmm.
like they did the book.
Yeah.
Um, and then also like the sexual partners conversation at the clinic, I felt like was way, way, way more serious than like the show portrayed it. Like to
Hmm.
me, she was like casually visiting, but like in the book, I felt like she was like scared, like couldn't believe that she had did this,
Yeah.
and like she had all these bruises, and like I just expected it to be more serious when it
Mm-hmm.
got to that. And I just felt like she had such a serious decline in the book. Like as I was reading it, I'm just like, damn, Queenie is getting lower and lower and
Mm-hmm.
lower. Where I felt like the show was just kind of her being free after a breakup. I didn't get the whole like
Mm-hmm.
I'm hanging on by a thread, which is what I felt in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt like she felt really bad when she was having casual sex in the book, and like in the movie it kind of just was like I'm living my best life. And I
Mm-hmm.
just don't like how they did the Ted situation. Like
Oh yeah.
Ted's wife being pregnant and her seeing them together, opposed to the book, the friend says it while they're on the side smoking a cigarette, and
Mm-hmm.
she found out that way. And like
Right.
even like their relationship, like Ted sending all the emails, like they didn't really show like how
Mm-hmm.
Ted was targeting her, telling her everything she wanted to hear, like really laying down seeds as if he was a good dude and wanting to like I'd never treat you that way, Queenie. Like I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that vibe. And then even they switched up Cassie finding out about the cheating. Like in the in the show we see him playing Scrabble with the family, so that's how we know that it's him. And
Mm-hmm.
then in the show she forgot Cassie was coming, but in the book she knew Cassie was coming and was like, just ignore that guy that's on the couch.
Right.
So I don't know. I just feel like the stuff that they changed, it didn't make sense to change. And even like, and I don't know if maybe my memory is just too good and I need to have less of a memory, but like even when the Indian guy picked her up, she was in the passenger seat with the seat all the way back. Then in the show they put her in the back seat. I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
that was unnecessary to change.
Yeah.
Unnecessary to change.
Mm-hmm. No, I definitely agree. I think they took a lot of that out for the show to be a certain length because you see, no, the episodes
Mm.
were only like 20 minutes.
Yeah, they
So
were
I
really
think,
short.
and then I think they tried to make it more of a comedy too.
Yeah.
So I think when converting into a show, it lost a lot of the integrity of the book because, like you said, it didn't really show how much she was struggling, like having the wild sex to the point that the people at the clinic were actually concerned for her health and safety. Like
Yeah.
they thought she was either raped or was being
Yeah.
pimped out, basically, because of how bad it was. And she was coming
Mm-hmm.
back like every other week.
Girl, yes. That's what I'm like, what is
Like,
going on here?
and then they had her. I think they should have put a scene in there where they had her list her sexual partners, like in the book, because like
Mm-hmm.
she was like, yeah, he's not from Africa. Like she kept listing all these different men to really kind of show like she really is out here just wilding out
Doing her
in
thing.
the streets. Yeah. But I really do like the fact that they added Frank.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think they did this because they knew they had to appeal to their audience. And I'm about to sit and watch a show will have her being mistreated by 10 white men in a brown and not give a black man a chance. Like I won't about to do it because I was annoyed with her in the book. But yeah, the Frank character actually shows a black man being romantically interested in her and
Mm-hmm.
reciprocating the interest versus the book. I feel like the book didn't really give Queenie a happy ending like the show, but
Yeah.
I do feel like it was a necessary change for the audience. I also feel like the show focused more on anxiety in her triggers. Like, I don't know if you picked up, but it was a song that played called She's Royal. I didn't look up who it was by, but that was a trigger for
Mm.
her. Um,
Mm.
it
I
showed that
noticed
it was
that.
playing during her abusive scene with her stepfather, when her stepfather is like yelling at her mother. That song was playing. And then it also played when she had her first anxiety attack, I think on Christmas. She was with her family and her mom and her aunt are dancing to the same song. And that's when she has her anxiety attack and runs out. But then they bring
Mm.
it full circle at the end. They play the song at her housewarming. So it's kind of like her reclaiming herself. Um, but yeah, again, I do feel like they cut out a lot, but I really think they did that to try to for the length of the show. And I do not
Yeah.
see this being a season two. I think this is a limited series. It ended really well.
Mm.
So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. The addition of the black run I thought was a nice touch as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I do wish they would have did more with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with you. I don't think there will be a spinoff, like another one.
Mm-mm.
So moving on to our first plot and pop pick, Divorce in the Black. Ava's husband, Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
leaves her heartbroken as he deserts their marriage. Dallas' malicious actions unravel as Ava gets a chance to find true love with her destined soulmate. This movie was wild, to say the least. It was filled with first things that I've never seen in a film before.
Never.
Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 0%, which I think is unfair. It wasn't that bad. to say the least. And I liked this project better than Mia Culpa. So I
Hmm.
wanted to know your thoughts on the movie and how do you think it compares to Tyler Perry's other films? Better, worse?
For one, I want to start off saying that 0% is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Rotten Tomatoes act like this is the worst movie they have ever seen. Like, it is not that bad. And then they gave Mia Culpa 37%, and this, like you said, was better than Mia Culpa. So I'm confused on how it got
Right.
0. I think Divorce in the Black should have at least been in the 40%.
Yes.
I had to think back to my favorite Tyler Perry films. I had to look it up because this man be good.
Hmm.
But I think I normally just automatically go to Medea. But outside of a
Yeah.
Medea, I think The Family That Prays
Yes.
is probably
Is that
my
the one with
favorite one.
Sanaa Lathan?
Yes, and Kathy
Yes,
Bates.
that one is so good. Yes, that one is
Yes.
so good.
So I think that's my favorite out of his transition away from like Medea.
Yes.
And then the Why Did I Get Married is probably are two. But
Yes.
so he was in his bag early 2000s, mid
He
2000s.
really was.
But
He
now
really
it's just like
was.
I don't know. I appreciate Tyler Perry for all that he's done. He is really a pioneer in this black film television thing. But I
He
think he
is.
has to have his hand in all of the pots for me to
Yes.
let something go.
I,
Like
I
we know
agree.
if he hires writers, it's okay, Tyler Perry. We know it's you. You gonna get the check. It's okay
Yeah.
to let some new fresh blood come in and provide a different perspective. But yeah, they claim Tyler Perry pays his black actors basically better than anybody out
I
here
could
for what
see
they're actually
that.
worth. Yeah. So
Yeah, I could
shout
see
out to
that.
Tyler for that too.
Yeah, because that's what's up. And
Mhm.
so I love that, like, he's, putting the money back in the pot and not trying to
Mhm.
keep it all for himself.
Mhm.
I found the film to be a little bit more realistic than other projects that he's done,
Mhm.
because while still maintaining the drama, like
Mhm.
where the scene where the mom told him to take her son out that casket because
Oh my goodness.
she didn't want them giving her a damn thing, took me out. Like, I've
Mhm.
seen some crazy funerals, but taking someone out of the casket during the funeral is so crazy and
Yes.
so Tyler Perry. Like, I could
Yes.
when I like he just does
The
the
most.
most. And so I had to, like, so that alone, I had to give it like it was decent because, like, you
Mhm.
did something that I've never seen done. So I had to
At
give,
the beginning, and it grabbed the
props.
attention of the audience.
Yes, and it set the
Mhm.
tone for the movie. And it
Mhm.
was entertaining that Corey Hardwick played the hell out of his role. And the internet
Mhm.
was saying that's probably why Tia wanted a divorce.
Mhm.
And I'm sure they both brought like some of that energy from divorcing their spouses to the film because,
Right.
Megan Good went through a divorce as well. So it's like two
Mhm.
people that have gone through this and they probably were able to, like, okay, if I really could have showed my ass, this is how I would have did it. So I feel like they were
Right.
really, really in character. And I also loved how we saw how her dad protected her mom, regardless of the circumstance. And I felt the dad because I felt like my dad would have did the same thing. Like,
Mhm.
yes, it was so dumb for him to show up to that house when he had like three brothers and the mom was crazy as hell. But I felt
Mhm.
like my dad would have did the same thing and had the same fate, like show up there all crazy and then get shot in the leg, and now you in the hospital. Um, but it was cute. It was really cute, and it was just to see the family dynamics were very cute.
Mhm.
It was a crazy movie.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But one of the better ones that he's released as of late.
Yes, I definitely agree. And I have faith that Mr. Jeffries would have at least shot first. Like that man was just standing there with the gun, like
Yeah.
waiting on, I don't know what he was waiting on. But yes, Corey Hardwick really scared me in this film. Like, and it's so funny because he seems so nice, like in all of his interviews. And I'm sure he is a nice person. He's just a great actor. But
Hmm.
that role, mm-mm. But yeah, what saying like they both went through divorces. The internet said that Tyler Perry was messy for casting both of them, knowing they had those public divorces. But
Someone said that Megan Good picked Corey. Like, she was like, I think he would be good to play like
oh,
my, yeah.
interesting. Okay, well, good for her because I know you said he was in All American Homecoming. I don't really remember
Yes.
seeing him in a lot of big roles, so hopefully
Yeah, yeah. Like,
see him
my
in a
his
little more
most
of
well
this.
known things are All American Homecoming, and then I don't know if you've seen I can't remember the name of it, but it's got Kiki Palmer in it, and it's actually really good. And it's got P Diddy's son in it. That's like not
Murder
his
Love? No, no,
biological.
no, 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 no. What's it called?
What's it called, Johnny?
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
That, and I've seen, and he's in that. Those are like, and I
I'm about
love
to
that
Google.
movie.
I'm about to Google.
I love that movie. Love that
Pull it
movie.
up.
And I can't think of the name of it, but yeah, Kiki Palmer's in it, Corey Hardwick, Omar.
Quincy.
Yes, Quincy's in it. Quincy and Kiki. And they were like in love, and it was like a gang war, basically.
Why is it not coming up? Movie.
And
Brotherly
Kiera
Love.
had,
Yeah, Brotherly Love. I was
yeah,
right.
brotherly love.
Okay. I don't know. I got that love part, and I was like, no, that's what Diddy was calling himself while he was
Brother
out
love. Oh
here.
yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, but no, it is. It's Brotherly Love. Hmm.
But something that I also have noticed between Tyler Perry's latest projects, like looking at Divorce in the Black and Mia Culpa, is the challenging relationships that men have with their mothers and how it impacts consequently their marriage.
Hmm.
What's your perspective? Like, do you see that underlying theme?
Yes. Now that you mentioned it, I didn't at first until you mentioned it, but like in both the movies, the mothers were terrible for the personal growth of their sons. And like whenever I see someone on Facebook be like, "My son is my king" or something similar to that, I already feel bad for the people they end up in relationships with, the sons, because I
Yeah,
feel like some women feel like they can't find love in a man, so that they will literally replace it with the love of their son,
a thousand
and
percent.
and then on the other side, the sons feel like they need to cater to their moms because they feel like indebted to her for how much she struggled and made a
Yes.
way for them. Like, that's my mama. She ain't got nobody. I got to be there for her. No, your mama needs a man. Your mama needs a man.
No, literally.
So yeah, I do see that.
And then, you know Imani. So Imani M
Mm-hmm.
made a really good point. She said she didn't enjoy the movie. She just felt like there was no build up, like that this man hated his wife all his life.
The entire time. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you look back on their time together, you don't see her happy once. And the
Mm-hmm.
way his mama acted a fool at their wedding would be enough for me to not marry him and call the wedding
Mm-hmm.
off. I
Mm-hmm.
think someone's relationship with their mother and being able to stand up to them respectfully is
Mm-hmm.
crucial in my relationship because I'm not competing with a mom for her son. You can have
Right.
him. Like it's a losing battle. You won't win. Like
Yeah.
if it's between you or his mother, he's going to pick his mother every time. And if I already see those traits, like you can just, I,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing that for, it's almost like having a bitter baby mama and dealing with that for the rest of your life. Like
Yes.
someone that's just going to make your life difficult on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'll be by myself and happy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
not
that
doing
is
it.
a bitter baby mama. Yeah, that is a good comparison.
That's like what it would be like trying to say,
Oh,
oh, I
right.
have this on this date, like planning stuff on your birthday, planning stuff on, it's just, that's the kind of things that I would expect a mother to do. Like I
Mhm.
remember one time I had, well, I mean, I like her now, love her now. And I mean, me and her son are together, but like, I just remember when like, and she claims she didn't do it on purpose. And, I'm sure she didn't, but I
Mhm.
just remember one time when one of my ex's moms like threw his graduation party the same day as mine. And I'm over here looking crazy at my graduation party when my family's like, "Where's your boyfriend?" I'm like, "I don't
Why would
know.
she?
He's supposed to be here." Yeah, and I'm like, "What in the world? Like, what is going on here?"
Yeah, that's a mess.
A
Mhm. What would you call that? A bitter hubby mama?
bitter hubby mama,
Like, I can't do it. I can't do
a
it.
BHM.
Right. Now we coined a new term. We gotta put that down. We gotta coin
No,
that.
literally, literally.
All right. So moving on to our listener's choice, there is something about Mary. Um, the description is Ted's dream prom date with Mary never happens due to an embarrassing injury at her home. Years later, Ted hires Pat Healy to track down Mary so he can reconnect with her. Pat lies to Ted about Mary and he finds out everything he can about her to trick her into dating him. Ted travels to Mary and has to weave through the web of lies that Pat and Mary's friend Tucker have woven to try to win her over. This movie was recommended by Vlad, IG, John Michael Basquiat, and stars Ben Stiller, Cameron Diaz, and Matt Dillon. The first time I heard about this movie, Kanye referenced it in his song Mercy. The line is, "There's something about Mary, she gone off that Molly." And at the time, the only Mary like I knew was either Jesus Mama, Mary Poppins, or that one that had the little lamb. And Kanye, you never know who he's talking about. So I didn't know what Mary he was talking about. But when Vlad insisted
Now
we
you
watch
know.
this movie, right, I'm glad we did because it was better than I expected.
Hmm.
The first comment that Vlad made about the movie is the fact that it was a theatrical masterpiece. And at first I was like, hold on, that's a bit much. But then when he went on to explain that he means specifically in this category of film, I wasn't sure what you would call it. I typed in crude humor comedy, but after I looked it up, the actual term is off color humor, which kind of means like movies that are based off like things that you really wouldn't like, maybe like sex or um, jokes that might not be politically correct, I guess.
Mm.
Which basically is where this falls. I mean, the whole reason he can't go to prom with Mary is because he zips his scrotum in his pants while in Mary's bathroom. And then everyone just keeps us like looking like, what
Yeah.
part of it is it? Like it's very crude humor. Um, the second point, the second and third point that Black brought up that justifies his first as to why this is a theatrical masterpiece in its own category is he really enjoyed the quirky characters and the amount of plot twists, which I completely agree with. Again, for an off-color humor movie, I wasn't expecting to be surprised about the multiple turn of events. A lot of those movies are kind of pretty straightforward and predictable, but I
Hmm.
had no idea the private investigator was going to lie to Ted and fall for Mary. I had no idea her Fred Tucker was impersonating a disabled British architect. And that in itself, like, who thinks of the character as a being a disabled British architect? Like,
Just
it's just,
crazy.
yeah, to impress Mary. I also had no idea that the Brett Favre she was referring to was, I mean, the Brett Favre was the ex Brett that she was referring to. And I definitely had no idea Ted's friend ended up being her high school ex with a fetish for shoes. So the choice of character was just crazy, but I think that it was casted perfectly. Like, I couldn't replace these characters with anybody else,
Hmm.
I think, in Hollywood right now. He brought up the fact that since this movie came out in 1998, it was one of Ben Stiller's earlier works, and Ben definitely did not disappoint with that
Hmm.
grade. And Vlad's only disappointments were the fact that this is not more of a cult classic, and that he was not initially high when he experienced watching this movie for the first
What?
time. He said it would have hit a little harder if he was high. Like it would have
Like
been,
the jokes?
yeah, if he was high. Yes.
I'm done. Lord have mercy.
So yes. So yeah, what did you think about it?
So I had seen it before and then I watched it again and like I
Hmm.
like it. Like I think it's a good movie, but I think it's just one of those things. Like I definitely see like the off color humor and like the not
Hmm.
politically correct, like especially when like um Healy or Pat was his first name Pat? Yeah, Pat was like saying like she was like, well, what do you do? He was like, oh, I hang out with retards. Like
Yes.
and then she's
Hmm.
looking at him like, what did you just say?
Hmm.
So it was, but I just feel like for movies in that category of like, so like I really love Ben Stiller, but to me he's like not funny. Like I think he does well
Yes.
in humorous films, but
But
he
him
himself
himself.
is
Hmm.
not funny. So like I'm more of like, but I think that they casted this perfectly. But I'm more of like a Vince Vaughn, Jason Bateman, like that kind of like
Will Ferrell is my favorite
yeah,
white man. Funniest white man. Like,
Caucasian boy, like comedy
yes.
boys. And so Ben Stiller, like he's done so many classics, but like I just like them because of who he is, not necessarily like the humor he brings to the film. Cause like even Meet the
Hmm.
Parents is like
Hmm.
funny, not based off like jokes that Ben tells, but just like his circumstances in the movies of
Hmm.
like what's going on, like from the with the
Right.
losing the cat, then having to spray paint a cat, bring it home, like
Hmm.
he's just put in movies where he thrives situationally, but I
Right.
feel like that's why it doesn't have that cult classic because it's not like knee slapper funny, like like Step
True.
Brothers and
Hmm.
things that like have people in a chokehold, like Boats and Hoes, like things that you can
Yes.
really like. The movie was good, but I can't pull any like one liners from it that I would like
Hmm.
use in the real world or to be funny, you know?
Right. Right. No, definitely. Because when you said Step Brothers, I automatically started laughing. Like, 'cause,
Yeah,
like
like
just
it's
the
just
idea
so
of the
many
movie
jokes.
is funny. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Hmm.
So, I wanted to ask you, after
Yes.
watching this, what's the craziest thing you've ever done for a guy that you were interested in, or vice
Mm.
versa? And how would you act if someone from your high school hired a PI, or that the PI fell in love and wanted to be with you?
Okay. Well, I feel like the only crazy things I've done in regard to a guy normally comes at the falling apart stage. Like we're breaking up or I think that they're cheating, etc. Like I don't think I've done anything crazy to like pursue,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I did have these two guys at two different stages in my life do some creepy stuff. The first one, I used to cheer football in high school, and he would literally come
Hmm.
to my games. Mind you, he would never ever say anything to me or like introduce himself. and I would never see him in the crowd. But then afterwards, he would message me on Facebook, like saying he saw me, telling me I was
That's
pretty and all
so
this stuff.
creepy and scary.
Very weird. But the scariest one was the more recent one. Well, I'm not gonna say recent. It's been a good. It's been like 7 years because Avery was
Yeah.
little. It was actually came from this guy I was interested in while attending ODU, and I'm not gonna say any names, but you know him too because he tried to talk to you as well.
Oh, I
And
know.
it acted like he didn't know we was friends.
They love to
Mhm.
play dumb.
They love to play dumb, but I digress. Anyway, I was working the front desk at the DoubleTree, and my phone was in the back charging. He called me. I missed the call. He called again. I answered, and he snapped at me for not answering the first time. I was like, I'm at work, and I hung up and proceeded to go back to working. Left my phone in the back. I kid you not, less than 15 minutes later, he was walking in the hotel.
That's
And
crazy.
yeah, I was confused because I thought he was checking in. So I'm like, "Are you checking in?" And he's like, "No, I was just making sure you were where you said you were." And when I tell you I was shook, I had to end it
You
that day.
should
I
have,
just ended
yeah,
it.
you should have got a
Anyway,
restraining order.
yeah. And I should have seen the red flags because if the listeners don't know, I have an 8-year-old, and this man acted like I made the baby on him as if we were together and I cheated on him and created my child. But prior to this, we had no romantic involvement. And the first time we started talking, my child, Avery, was like 2. So like he just had been like this kind of like obsessive
Yeah,
outside of me even knowing him. Like we were friends, but
like cool and cordial.
yeah.
I
He's
always
blocked me
get
on
weirded out
everything.
by weird jokes like that. Like, why are you making jokes that like
Yeah.
that's a weird joke to make when I have
This
a
man
kid
was dead
and
ass serious. Like he was serious. He was
ugh.
really, yeah, he was really serious. But he's blocked on everything now. He did add me on LinkedIn, but he's not.
When all else
Right.
fails, I'm gonna add her on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, yeah, but he's not blocked on here, so I guess Scripts and Screens is his only access to me for real.
Oh Lord, girl, don't let
But
him see this, and he gonna be right in the DM. We have to
yeah,
report his ass.
yep, he is. But to answer the second question, I don't know. I can't even fathom somebody from my high school hiring a PI. I don't even think. I don't want to be shady or nothing, but I don't see nobody putting that money and effort into doing that. But the man that I told y'all about, yeah, I definitely could see him hiring a PI and me having to get a restraining order.
Making sure your ass is at that DoubleTree.
Right. He can't be looking for me now. I didn't upgrade it.
Right.
But what about you? You had any crazies or you got anything crazy?
So after seeing the film, I realized I've never had like stalker energy outside of like the normal like fake Instagram pages. And then
Mm-hmm.
like if I don't answer the phone and if they have my sister's number, like they'll call her
Mm.
or like popping up to my family's home. Like I can't think of anything really crazy. And like I've thought of like crazy things that other people have done. Like I know there was one time I was dating this guy
Mm-hmm.
and he was working at a hotel. And
That hotel
there's
job.
something about the hotels.
Yeah.
And so he was about to get off. So he was like, we were like gonna do a movie night. So he was like, oh, just come to my job. I'm almost off. So like I go in there and I like sit down, I'm like just sitting waiting for him to get off. And
Mm-hmm.
like this girl comes into the hotel and like she's pissed. And like she's walking all and like she's like talking to him at the front desk. And then I see her like looking at me and then and I'm
Mm.
just like, what is going on? So
Mm-hmm.
then it was like she like wouldn't leave. So then he was like, all right, we're gonna go out the side door. Like, so we literally went out the side door and I told him, I was like, yo, like this is crazy. Like have a conversation with her. Like I know she's not crazy. So like I just I'm like, oh, I'm always on, I write women's rights and wrongs. That's as
Mm-hmm.
feminist as I get. But I was just like, just have a conversation with her. Like tell her respectfully, like it's donezo. And like, I think if you just have a conversation with her, like it'll chill out. So like I made him
Mm-hmm.
talk to her. I was like, bro, like you need to go talk to her. And so he went to go talk to her and I don't know how the conversation went. He told me how it went, but I forget. It's been so long. But
Mm-hmm.
I just was like, oh, I will not fight you. You can have this man today.
Right, right. It's
Like
not that deep.
I
Mm-mm.
am not over no man. I'm just not doing it. And I think that that's my thing too. I think I'm just so prideful. I think that's the main reason why I'm like not a crazy girl is
Mm-hmm.
because I think I'm like scared and I'm prideful. Like I'm prideful because I'm just like, yeah, you're not about to have me all bent out of shape. And
Mm-hmm.
then I'm scared because I do feel like if you go looking, you'll find. And
Yeah.
ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like a lot of times I'll try to avoid even like doing that deep PI dive because
Yeah.
I like don't want to know. And then the other hand is like, yeah, you're not about to be telling people like you have me out here. Like you're not about to have
Right.
telling people I crashed out.
Right. Right. But no, I remember that video you sent where that dude popped up at your sister's house. That was crazy from the
It
ring
was.
camera. Oh my god.
My sister was
And
like, "Is this?" And I was like,
yeah,
"Oh my god, it is
looking crazy. And I just
looking
want to say this is
crazy."
this is not a sponsored ad for Ring cameras, but if Ring would like to sponsor us, we will incorporate a Ring camera doorbell every episode story. I mean, every episode, I would go outside and do something crazy in front of my Ring camera just for the coins from Ring. But I think the allure comes from like the unknown. Like people get so
hmm
stuck on the idea of you, like makes them crazy. Like that, what
hmm
if? Like even when it comes to Ben Stiller's character, he probably would have been less pressed if they actually did go to prom because even if the date went bad, he would at least know what he was missing out on.
hmm
But I think people they've created like this illusion of what they think the future with you would be like, and they're
Right.
so stuck on that and having to actualize it that they just do the craziest things. So
No, literally. I didn't even think about that because I idealize a lot of men. I have like those like first 3 weeks of like what it could be, and then like
hmm
week 4 I realized like, okay, this is not the narrative that I had in my
yeah,
head. Like you're
yeah,
not the person like I thought you were.
hmm yeah.
But I think a lot of people do that. They fall in love with the idea of a person versus like
The
who a person
potential.
actually is. Yeah.
hmm Definitely. So men and women. But
Yes.
yep, that is it, guys, for our episode 4. And next week, our watch list will be Your Honor, which is on Netflix, and that was recommended by both Shael and Shayla. Since 2 people recommended it, and it's 2 seasons, Shael will give her notes on season 1, which will be on episode 5, and then Shayla will be giving her notes on season 2, which will be episode 6. For the movies, we have Monkey Man, which is on Peacock, and then Back to Black, which is also on Peacock. Any other thoughts, Imani?
No, that's all. Just keep sending us your recommendations.
Mm-hmm.
We want to watch what you guys are watching. We probably haven't seen it. We may have seen it, and it would still be good to have a conversation on it. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely keep DMing your guys' recommendations, and we want your notes. We want your thoughts. And as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.